Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the latest launch from Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Keys Beachy and Peachy palette. This palette is themed after the Florida Keys. Each one of their palettes is themed after a specific destination around the world. This one is the Florida Keys, and I'm absolutely loving this cover art. You got the flamingos, the key lime pie. I believe this is a margarita. It's just so freaking pretty. I have the actual outer packaging right there in my background. I think I'm going to keep that out all summer as like summer decor, maybe save it for next year as well. It's very, very tropical. I am loving it for this time of year. Here is our color story, and it reminds me a little bit of the Tropical Paradise palette that came out, I think it was summer 2022. That one was a little bit more rainbow, but very, very similar vibes, and I just think this is absolutely beautiful. The palette will be launching this coming Tuesday, June 25th around 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. USA, it will retail for $49. It will also be $49 euros. I do have a discount code. It is Tanelia10. It will save you 10%. It's non-affiliated. I don't make any commission from that code. It's just to save you guys a little bit of money. All right, let's get into the details and the nitty-gritty of what this palette is all about. First things first, each palette comes with one of these little postcards, and it always has like a photo or artwork on the cover that goes with the theming of the palette itself. On the back, there's always a little bit of a message from the owners, and then over here, there's a description of the palette. I'm going to read the description of the palette, and while I'm reading this, I'm going to drop in close-ups of the palette itself, as well as swatches. The new Keys Beachy and Peachy Intense Color Palette. The destination. The southernmost point in the continental U.S., Florida Keys is a tropical paradise with laid-back, come-as-you-are feel. Connected by the overseas highway, this archipelago is an oasis of color-soaked vistas, marine life sanctuaries, and days of fun in the sun activities. With blue skies, key lime pies, and 5 o'clock somewhere vibes, it's no wonder that close to perfect, far from normal is their motto. As Hemingway said, life is good in the Florida Keys. The only thing missing is you. Well, now you have arrived. The palette. Tropical goodness, a collection of tropical hues from sun-washed yellows, peaches, and key limes to richly soaked purples, blues, and sunset corals. 11 fun in the sun mattes and 7 glistening on water shimmers inspired by the always sunny Florida Keys. Each palette always has a cause that the Nomad is working with. This one, it says, we are proud to support the Dolphin Research Center that saves and protects dolphins and other marine mammals in the Florida Keys. In this video, I'm going to be doing 2 looks using this palette, which I'm excited about. And for this first look, I think I already have an idea of what I want to do. I want to start off with this deep blue right here, which is sea meets sky. That's going to go in the outer corner, and then in the crease, we're going to go with this shade. This shade is called Shipwreck Trail. I might take one of the yellows into the inner portion. We'll just kind of see where we go with those 2 shades. As far as our shimmers, right now I'm thinking southernmost point going into Conch Republic. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this first theme. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to prime my eyelids with my Colourpop eyeshadow primer. This is the Party Proof in Caramel. This is a brand new tube I will be opening up for the first time today. I'm going to take my crease brush from Real Techniques, and we're going to go ahead into Shipwreck Trail, which is the orange. I think I'm going to lay that down first and then take the blue shade into that and just kind of blend it into it. So I'm just going to take this and just go right into that crease. I like this brush because it really helps to carve. Ooh, that shade is laying down pretty good. One thing that I did notice about this palette when I was doing the swatches, which was different than the Tropical Paradise palette, is I feel like these swatched a little bit better. They were a little bit more pigmented. You know, pastels, they're a little bit harder as far as like, you know, the pigmentation. You usually have to kind of build them up a little bit more. Sometimes you have to use like a lighter base, sometimes even like a white base underneath them. But this is actually blending out pretty well. It's not like super pigmented, but it's as pigmented as I'm needing. Like, I'm really liking that. Sometimes pastels don't show up really well against my skin tone, but that is showing up really well. I'm already impressed. Very smooth shade. That's pretty. Now with my Beauty Bay Detail Blending Detail Blending Brush, I'm going to lay that on the outside corner and just start carefully blending that into that first shade, Shipwrecked Trail. Oh, that's super pigmented. We're just going to lightly blend that into the crease. I'm trying to go with like a color story that I don't usually go with. It's real easy just to kind of go with your like, you know, usual go-to shades and the way that you would combine things. And I'm trying to combine things a little bit different. And this is blending out beautifully. I'm just going to lightly soften that, blend that into that first shade. I'm going to go back in with my crease brush and just kind of melt these two shades together. We're getting a bit of like a purple transition in there since, you know, that first shade is kind of, you know, has a little bit of a red in it, and red and blue do make purple. So that is the perfect transition. Before we go into the shimmers, I'm going to lay down a little bit of my base booster from Beige Cosmetics. This is just a glitter glue. I like to use a sticky base underneath shimmer shadows. I feel like it just helps them pop a little bit more. So we're just going to lay this all over a lid, just where I want the shadows to go. I laid it down in just a little bit of an angle because I like the shadows to kind of go like that instead of like going just straight up and down. So I'm going to take the sticky side and we're going to go into Southernmost Point, which is the brighter green right here. That is such a gorgeous green. And the swatch, oh my God. I'm just going to lay this down. None of these are like duochromes or multichromes or anything like that. They're just really kind of basic, pretty shimmery shadows, or shimmers rather. I'm going to go back in with that blue. No product added, just to kind of melt the outer corners, the edges together. That shimmer is freaking stunning. I'm going to dip back into the mattes real quick. I want to take Sunshine Salute, which is this kind of pale yellow here, and I want to lay that in the inner portion before I lay down the shimmer. So I just want to kind of, I don't know, I just feel like I want a little bit more of something in the inner portion, just like a little bit more brightness. That shade is definitely a little bit more pale, which I expected. It's the type of palette that it is, or the type of pastel that it is. If I lay down a lighter base, I do have an eyeshadow primer that I like to use under pastels, but I just kind of want to, I like to see how a pastel performs without it. This one is a little pale, but I think that's to be expected when you consider the shade, the type of formula that it is. I do like the way it's blending. Do you see that? It like blended into the shimmer and it left like a matte kind of lime transition on the inner corner. That is pretty. It's an unexpected plus. Now we're going to go into Contour Public, and I'm going to use this small flat detail shader brush. I got this out of a Revolution advent calendar and I freaking love it. I'm just going to lay this in the inner portion and just kind of blend that into that green. And oh my word, that is stunning, you guys. I feel so tropical. I feel like I'm about to freaking go to the beach right now. This is such a gorgeous transition. I am loving it. It is beautiful. This whole combination I am absolutely loving. It is stunning. Ooh. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to finish off the look, and then we'll come back and we'll see everything put together. We're back. Final look is complete. What do you guys think? You guys, I am absolutely loving how everything came together. For my eyes, I am using my lashes. I got these from Temu. I have no idea what the brand or anything is, or like style or anything. It doesn't say, but they're just really pretty big fluffy lashes. For my wing, I'm using it from AOA Studio. This is my Artista liner, and then the waterline is from Beauty Bay. The shade is Blue Skies. Perfect shade, a little brightness, a little blue in the waterline. Goes perfect with this tropical look and tropical theme, I believe. For my lip combo, I wanted to go with something a little bit more neutral so that the eyes, are the showcase of this look. My lip pencil is from AOA Studio. It's the shade Moon Shoes, and then I combined two lip products, and the first one is Revolution. This, I think, it's just their satin matte lipstick. The shade is in Fling. It's a really pretty, like orangey neutral brown. So freaking pretty. I love it. And then I combine that with the Luxe lipstick shade. This is in Just Imagine from Colourpop. All right, that is the first look. Now let's jump into putting together our second look. Let's jump into putting together look number 2, and I want to focus on the deeper shades. So I definitely want to do Key West, which is the deeper purple, and I definitely want to do this gold, which is called Dry Turtigas. I believe that's how you pronounce that. So I definitely want the focus to be these two shades. I think I'm going to take Far From Normal, which is this yellow right here, into the crease, and just blend that into Key West. Now we know that those two shades can get muddy if blended too deeply, so we're going to have to go kind of easy with that, but that's kind of what I'm wanting to do. I think I want to also use Rum Runner and then just kind of put Contour Public in the corner. The issue is that this shade is really the only like light shimmer in there that can go in the inner portion of the eye, so that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. But let's lay down, let's go ahead and start with the yellow. So Far From Normal, let's start with that, and then we'll blend that into Key West. I've already primed my eyelids using that same Colourpop primer that I used for look number 1. Oh, that is a pigmented yellow. You see that? That is really, really pretty. Yeah, I am liking that shade. I always feel like one of the marks of a good palette is how well the yellow shades, if there's a yellow shade in the palette, how pigmented that is. This is definitely a really nice pigmented shadow. I don't have like a light base or anything like that underneath. I'm just using my regular eyeshadow primer, and that looks so pretty. I have a little bit of Key West on my Beauty Bay detail blending brush, and we're just going to focus that on the corner, lightly gently blending that into the yellow so it doesn't get muddy. I'm going to take my Beige Cosmetics base booster and lay that down before we put down the gold shade. We're going to take this shade on the same sticky brush. I'm going to lay that down first on the outer edge here, a bit of an angle, because the plan is to lay down 2 more shades. I'm going to take the other side of the same brush and go into Rum Runner and just kind of lay that in the middle portion of the eye. Instead of going into Contour Public, I think I'm going to take Southernmost Point and use that as my inner corner highlight. And I'm going to use this little flat brush from Revolution. It's the same brush that I used on look number 1. I think it's going to be it for the shadows. I'm going to go off camera, do a little bit more blending just to kind of make this look a little bit smoother, add my liner, lashes, the rest of my details, and then we'll come back and I will give my final first impressions of what I'm thinking about this palette. Second and final look is complete. What do you guys think? I am loving the way that it came out. I wanted to do something a little bit different than what I would normally do, and I like it. I think it came out really, really well. My lashes and my liner, same ones from look number 1. For this look, I used a Glow from Colourpop in my waterline. It's just a really pretty metallic yellow. My lips are a combination of Heart from Beauty Bay, the lip pencil, and then the lipstick. This is one of the Luxe Blur lipsticks from Colourpop in 21 Questions. This is one of my absolute favorite, like pinky reds. I freaking loved it. I wanted a soft red for the lip, but not something too dramatic that it would take away from the eyes. And I think we did a good job here. So what am I thinking about this palette, you guys? I am loving it. As I said in the beginning of the video, it reminds me a little bit of the Paradise Islands palette that came in a couple of years ago. That one I did declutter. I just feel like the mattes and everything in that palette just weren't working for me, but this one I have to say is an upgrade. I am loving this one. All of the mattes blended beautifully. The shimmers are nice and wet and glossy. Like I said, there's no duochromes or multichromes or anything on that. Just your basic, shiny, wet looking shimmers, and these are beautiful. I very much enjoyed working with this palette. I'm definitely going to try to do a couple more looks. They won't be coming up like this week because I would have to film them next weekend in order to be able to like get them up. So I would definitely do a couple more looks for this. It just might be a while before I get them up. Once again, this palette launches this coming Tuesday, June 25th, around 12:01 Eastern Standard Time in the USA. It will be $49. Euros, it will also be $49. And once again, I do have a code. It is Tanelia10. It will save you 10%. Non-affiliated. I don't make a commission. It's just to save you guys a little bit of money. Well, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Really does help with getting my videos into recommendations. If you're new to the channel, I would love it if you consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe. Make sure you tap the bell so you don't miss a thing, and you can also follow me on my other socials. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.